Welcome to Mercedes-Benz Vans. We have the year 2020, and that means that we have started with the production of the Sprinter 25 years ago. And we have another anniversary. 25 years ago, the van division within Mercedes-Benz was born. The Sprinter has become a synonym for a complete class of vehicles, and everybody talks about a Sprinter and not a 3.5 tons van. But the history of the Mercedes-Benz vans started much, much earlier, and that's what we want to look at now. We jump back to the year 1955. This was the start of the van development. Up to then, there were upgraded passenger cars or downgraded trucks, and there was no real van development in the whole wide world. Mercedes-Benz, the L319 of Mercedes-Benz, was first as a standalone van development. On the IAA in 1955, the L319 was launched, and it was available as a bus, as a panel van, and all the other variants which we today know are available as a van. This is the way people traveled to Italy in the mid-50s. We have a panorama roof, which was the first then in these years, and we have a very luxurious leather interior of the bus, and this was the way the people traveled in these years. Another interesting feature for this early 319 is the sliding door. Developed for the then Deutsche Bundespost, and it would be a real feature for the easy way to enter and exit the vehicle for today's parcel services. We write the year 1967, and the L319 is a perfect example for the life cycle development of a model. We have implemented the brake booster, we have implemented a safety steering column, we have implemented a new steering wheel which has reached crash standards, and safety was developed into the old vehicle. In the early 60s, Mercedes-Benz started with crash tests for its passenger cars, and of course the vans were tested as well. Well, we stayed in the year 1967. The 319 was history because we had a new car then. It was the Model 309. The development focus in the Model 309 was the driver fitness safety. That means big mirrors, big windows, all the switches and everything close by. The fitness of the driver was the focus of the development. In addition, the Model 309 was the first van with automatic safety belts. The Model 309 was the first van to have a real name, and this name resulted of the production factory. So this van was called the Düsseldorfer. Ten years later, we now have the year 1977. Mercedes-Benz vans launched the T1. This was the second vehicle which actually had a name after its production factory. This was called the Bremer. During life cycle, the T1 got a lot of safety features implemented into the vehicle. So it was the first van with disc brakes at the front axle from the beginning, and it was the first van with ABS. Then the whole interior was developed to reach the new crash test safety standards. After 18 years of production time, it was time for a new car, and Mercedes-Benz Vans launched the new Sprinter. But before the new Sprinter was launched, the T1 had another big contract of the German Deutsche Bundespost, of the Post, for 10,000 vehicles which were ordered right at the end of the production time. Of course, the new Sprinter got everything with what was developable in these days as safety features. So it got disc brakes, front and rear axle, it got an ABS standard, and of course, it was the first van with an airbag. In the year 2000, it was already obvious that the Sprinter is a very successful selling vehicle and will be in the future. And so it was decided to give him a full facelift, just the way passenger car was doing that. For a van, the facelift was quite tremendous. It got new headlights, a complete new front, and the interior was changed entirely, and it was the first time that passenger car feeling was implemented in the development of a van. It got a joystick gear lever, and the interior noise and the interior feeling was absolutely passenger car-like. The Mercedes-Benz Sprinter was the first van with ESP, and the implementation of this system was a tremendous step in terms of vehicle safety all over the world. In 2006, Mercedes-Benz launched the new Sprinter. This was quite a challenge for our development department to make the vehicle better than the very successful former Sprinter. But they managed to do that with the implementation of a lot of new assistance systems. The adaptive ESP detects where the load is located in the vehicle and what weight it has, and can adjust the brakings accordingly. In addition to the ESP, a wide variety of assistance features were implemented into the new Sprinter, but the interior was the main focus, which now really has passenger car feeling. Again, 12 years later, Mercedes-Benz has introduced the new Sprinter in 2018. Again, it was very hard for development to improve the very successful NCV3, but we managed. We implemented a front-wheel drive, we have a tractor head now, and we have an all-wheel drive and a wide variance of assistance systems. We started this journey in time in 1955 with the L319. And now we have the year 2020, and we have the latest evolutionary step of the Sprinter with the e-Sprinter. The future of mobility will be electric. And the answer of Mercedes-Benz vans for future transportation is the electric Sprinter. For our development people, it was a tough job to combine load capacity and load volume with range and drivability. And we made it. The e-Sprinter has the same load volume and the same load capacity as the Sprinter with combustion engine. This was 65 years of van history. I was part of it for 40 years, and I'm looking forward to everything that's lying ahead.